So the real cause of inflation in America is corporate greed. I'm gonna prove it to you. Yes, I am absolutely going to prove this to you. Corporations are spending billions of dollars on buying back their own stock. And that money could have been used to increase wages. It could have been used to improve, let's say, working conditions. But instead, it was used to increase and improve the wealth of corporate executives. Imagine that. So let's take a look at the top 2022 stock buybacks. And this is coming from Warren Gunnels, the chief of receipts himself. 2020 stock buyback, Apple $90 billion, Nike $18 billion, Home Depot $15 billion, Texas Instruments $15 billion, Exxon Mobil $10 billion, Norfolk Southern $10 billion, Twitter $4 billion, Whirlpool $2 billion, Cracker Barrel $200 million. The problem is corporate greed, boss. And that's coming from the one and only Warren Gunnels, baby. Warren, he lays it down. So let me educate you on what a stock buyback actually is. So stock buybacks occur when a company buys its own shares, taking them out of the marketplace, which increases the value of the earnings per share and makes each outstanding share worth more money. Buybacks were illegal in this country until 1982. Let me say that just one more good time. Stock buybacks were illegal in the United States of America until 1982. But corporations are scrambling now to purchase their own shares. And why, you ask? I'm so glad you asked, because I really want to answer this question for you. A new tax on stock buybacks that passed as a part of Democrats' major spending bill over the summer goes into effect, an effort that may zap one of the bill's main sources of revenue. And even Senator Chuck Schumer said at one point, he said these things: I think buybacks are one of the most self-serving things that corporate America does. Instead of investing in workers and in training and in research and in equipment, they don't do a thing to make their company better, and they artificially raise the stock price by just reducing the number of shares. They're despicable. I like to abolish them. Come on through, Senator Schumer. Let's do that, baby. Let's abolish stock buyback, shall we, Mayor?
Did anybody remind Chuck Schumer what his position is?
Hello.
Did anybody remind him that his party controls all three houses in Washington, D.C.? So stop wanting to do it, stop talking about it, and just get it done. This is absolutely disgusting. Listen, not even to add up all of these countries, these companies you just listed, Apple by itself, the amount of stock they bought back,
90 billion.
It's more than 70% of the country's GDP in this world. There's only 50 countries that have a higher GDP than what they spent on buying back their own stock. Absolutely, it's disgusting. Absolutely, it's despicable, and it should be illegal. It should have never not been illegal. This is ridiculous, because what happens is people that don't understand this and don't understand the stock market. Let me say it plain. It's like saying you got 1,000 of something and you buy 999 of them back and get to charge people whatever you want for that last one. De Beers has been doing it for hundreds of years with diamonds, and it's disgusting the way they do it, and it's still disgusting the way that these companies are doing it. And the fact that people are starving, and you have CEOs talking about cutting people's jobs so that we can handle inflation, but this is allowed, is absolutely tacky, beyond tacky.
It is, man, and the owner donors just continue to be in control. This is really what this comes down to. Stock buybacks, again, for the third time, were illegal until 1982. I really do want people to wrap their minds around that, because I know that it's so hard to understand and maybe in some cases comprehend. The system is rigged, and we are laying out just one of the many ways that it is rigged. But Dr. Robert Reich, he lays it out just perfectly. Take a look at this. Corporate profit only accounted for roughly 11% of price growth from 1979 to 2019. Today, record corporate profits account for 53.9% of price increases. Man, I gotta rest. I want you guys to keep Dr. Robert Reich up. Keep him up. We need to rest right on that. Today, record corporate profits account for 53.9. We might as well go ahead and say 54% of price increases. Folks, corporate greed is driving inflation, not workers asking for better wages. 54% of price increases today are linked to corporate greed. 54%. So Dr. Robert Reich, the former labor secretary under President Bill Clinton, an economist, an activist, he is laying this thing all the way out. Let's look at this other chart we have up here. Normal and recent contributions to growth in unit prices in the non-financial corporate sector. So corporate profits, you see it, 54%. That's it. Non-labor input costs, about 38.3%. Unit labor costs, 7.9%. Even the little raises, because Mayor, there has been an increase in wages, but the wages are not keeping up with inflation. And that's the point. So people's buying power is not strong. But meanwhile, these companies who are unpatriotic, any way you slice it, really do not care that the average worker in this country is suffering. They're not even breaking even. They are taking a loss. Mayor?
54%. I don't know if there's anything else that needs to be on everybody's Twitter. Hashtag 54 needs to be trending right now because that is absolutely disgusting. The fact that when you consider how much bread costs, when you consider how much technology, when you consider how much everything costs right now, you just divide that or multiply it by 54%. And then you blame that on corporations, not on people, not on unions, not on people deserving a livable wage, as it's been articulated by the former labor secretary. This is absolutely disgusting to me. And for that to have an entire party in the Republican Party fighting for this, and then the Democratic Party is barely doing anything better. We find poor people living on the margins in a dangerous situation right now. Seriously, go ahead.
No, you go right ahead, Mayor.
I was just gonna say seriously again, this is absolutely disgusting. 54 is a high percentage for anybody to blame. If I had a company and something was 54% of it, or the reason of it, all I would be trying to do is take that number down to lower costs. But in this case, companies will not be trying to lower that number because that's their profit. That's unrealistic profit that we've never seen, like we said, not since 1979. I was born in 1979. So way before my life, this didn't exist. Then you have to couple all of these tax breaks that these companies getting that are new. People forget that even on the Ronald Reagan, taxes were way higher on the top earners. So we are seeing people making ungodly amounts of money and not doing anything to better the company, to better their workers, to better the environment, to better the country. Like you said, they're unpatriotic at best. And then on top of that, we see them turn down bridges in Seattle so their larger yachts can get under those bridges. 100, 200-year-old bridges being removed so a new billionaire's yacht can fit through there.
It is the second phase of the Gilded Age, and Dr. Robert Reich talks about this all the time. We are going backwards, and the feds need to jump in here and rewrite the rules. We need a windfall profits tax to stop these corporations from doing what they are doing. They are taking advantage of people. They are making money at everybody else's expense, literally. And this is not about being anti-wealth. Wealth is a beautiful thing. There are many ways to define wealth. Having enough money to support yourself and your family is one. Your health is having a good, clean environment, having safe neighborhoods. All of that goes under the umbrella of wealth. What we are talking about in this moment is unfettered greed. And that is what is happening at the hands of these corporations. And the federal government is not helpless. They need to check these fools. They need to go ham on these fools on behalf of the American people.